Hello my friends, welcome back to my channel. This is Mama Me. On my channel I do a variety of pregnancy, parenthood, motherhood, and overall lifestyle content in this channel. If this is the first time you're here, make sure you subscribe, join the family. It would really make me happy. And also check out my other videos after today's video. In today's video, I want to share with you my experience preventing gestational diabetes. Before we start, I just want to do a disclaimer. These tips are not medical advice. It's just my experience. Check with your doctor. A little background information. So if you look at me right now, right now at the time of filming, I am 10 months postpartum. So I already lost my pregnancy weight and stuff. So a little background story of me is that I do carry the diabetes genes. It runs in my family. It shows my DNA test. And before I was pregnant, there was a time when my fasting glucose was over the chart. I was kind of pre-diabetic for a little while until I used a continuous glucose monitor. Before I was pregnant, before I tried for the babies, I used the CGM for 3 months and I changed my diet, I changed my lifestyle, I changed everything. And that really helped me to prevent gestational diabetes as well. So here, I just want to share that it's not like my blood sugar is always steady. It's always I was low risk of gestational diabetes. That's why I don't have gestational diabetes. It's really I did the work to prevent it, or else it would have been very scary. So now I would just want to share some of the tips that I had my experience. So first thing is, if you're currently not pregnant right now, if you're thinking about being pregnant very near future, definitely go to your doctor, do a routine test to see your A1C, to see your panel, to see your fasting glucose, to see your lipid panel, to see your health condition. So before I knew I was going to try for babies, I started trying for babies in 2022, but in 2021, I was very obsessed with my health. I established a primary care doctor. I did my lipid panel. I did my fasting glucose and stuff. And my fasting glucose was really high for like a while. It was like 110 even after I fasted for 12 hours. So, and I think I tested 3 times with 3 different doctors. I even saw a specialist for something else. But again, the first thing is to keep your health in check before you even try for the babies is actually the best advice I've ever heard, is that I try to fix my glucose before that. So how I did was that I paid for 3 months of CGM from NutriSense. You don't have to go for NutriSense, but I used the continuous glucose monitor. I started to see how my body react to the way I was eating, like the order of eating food, what food to put into my body. For example, bagels are no. Bread, kind of okay if you don't eat a lot. Eat the eggs and avocado first before you eat the toast. That's also one thing. And corn, not a good idea on empty stomach. Always eat corn with vegetables and a lot of meat. Eat the protein first. And also another thing is exercise in the morning really helps. And also do a walk after eating a meal really helps. So those are the things that I learned from continuous glucose monitor before I was pregnant. So I kind of fixed my fasting glucose before I was pregnant, so that also helps me to prevent gestational diabetes. So tip number 1 is before you're pregnant, if you still had a chance, go to different doctors, try different lifestyles. It's easier for you to change your lifestyles when you're not pregnant than forcing yourself to change any diet during pregnancy. Second tip is with diet. So when I was pregnant, it's very hard to go low carb or keto because you do need the carbs, you do that energy. You do need that energy. You never want to make yourself feel like you're about to faint. So when I was pregnant, I was eating a lot of carbs because I knew my baby's development, I need to fuel my body. But at the same time, when I was pregnant, I always prioritize protein and fat first. I will always eat a lot of meat, a lot of fat first, and then at the end I was like, oh, still hungry, let me eat some noodles. Oh, I'm still hungry, let me eat some rice. So that personally actually helped me out because I was prioritizing protein and fat before I eat the carbs, but I still ate a lot of carbs. Second thing with diet is in my first trimester, in my entire first trimester, I did not eat any dessert. I did not eat any cookies. I did not eat any sweet treats. I think after 20 weeks is when I started to eat a little bit more cookies. But before 20 weeks in my first trimester and the first half of my second trimester, I was very not eating dessert. But it also helps me that I had nausea and food aversion, and dessert kind of gives me that stomach acid and makes me even more nauseous. So that really helped me out not eating dessert. So I was very good for 20 weeks. First 20 weeks of my pregnancy, absolutely no dessert, no sugar. Well, of course, I eat a bunch of fruit, which has sugar, but that's fine. Fruit has a lot of vitamins. It helps to fuel my body. It also provides different nutrients to me and the baby. So the third thing with my diet was that I try to eat a lot of whole foods compared to processed foods, at least in my first 20 weeks of pregnancy. So before I was pregnant, even for now, I love to snack. Oh, I love to snack. I love to snack on the cheese puffs. I love to snack on the crackers. I just love snacks. But you know, a lot of those snacks very, very high in carbs. And when you snack a lot, it also makes your insulin spikes. It never allows your insulin to drop. And slowly, you may have insulin resistance. So in my first 20 weeks of pregnancy, at least I try not to snack, and it helps when I had nausea also. So I did not eat much processed food. I was mainly eating meals. I would rather eat a burger compared to like a bunch of cookies, because at least burgers have a lot of protein and fat. Like a bunch of cookies is just pure carbs, and that's not good for my glucose level. That's not good for my insulin spikes and control my insulin resistance. So I was prioritizing my 3 meals compared to snacks in between. And when I really wanted snacks, I was snacking a lot on like vegetables and fruit, which again helped. Now let's talk about exercise. So exercise absolutely helped with preventing gestational diabetes. The first thing I did was after every single meal, I would take for a walk. So this lasts for my entire pregnancy. After breakfast, I would go for a walk for 20 minutes. After lunch, I'll go for a walk for 20 minutes. After dinner, I'll go for a walk for 30 minutes. I never find excuses. No matter what happens, I'll go for a walk right after I eat a huge meal. Well, it also helps in my 3rd trimester when I had heartburn and indigestion. My indigestion actually started in my 2nd trimester. Taking a walk helps with the indigestion. But I was walking 15,000 steps every single day. I don't go to the gym every single day. I don't work out every single day, but I walk every single day. And zone 2 cardio is the best you could do with regulating your insulin glucose regulation, like to prevent gestational diabetes or prevent diabetes in general. So walking is the best thing I did during my entire pregnancy, especially after each meal. Okay, so the last thing that I did to prevent gestational diabetes is to focus more on the nutrition than the calories. A lot of times people tell you, okay, you need to eat extra 500 calories starting in your 2nd trimester. Focus more on the nutrients means think about what you actually put into the body that helps you and the baby. When I was pregnant, I ate a bunch of blueberries, strawberry, raspberry, blackberries, because I know blueberries and those berries are full of antioxidant, full of fiber, full of vitamins. It helps me and my baby. I ate a bunch of hard-boiled eggs. I ate a bunch of bananas because it has potassium. So yes, some of them are carbs heavy, some of them are protein heavy, some of them like yogurt and stuff are both carbs and protein heavy. But at the same time, I think more about the nutrients rather than, okay, I'm gonna eat 500 calories in ice cream. Ice cream doesn't help you for anything. Again, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't be eating ice creams, but it just means it's not helpful. It's not a building block for my baby and for me. So I focus more on the nutrients rather than like when a doctor recommend the calories and stuff. And lastly was that I still exercised a lot during my pregnancy. I do a lot of moderate exercise. I do some weight training as well. Personally, I believe have a lot of muscles also helped with overall health, because I feel like it puts your body into a better balance in terms of your hormone control. You eat a lot of fat. It also helps me at least to regulate my appetite, because I had a huge appetite when I was pregnant. It was like I was always hungry when I was pregnant, but sometimes when I exercise, for some reason it helps me to regulate. Like after I exercise, I want to eat more protein instead of I just want to snack on like the carbs. So personally, I also do weight training as well, and it helps me, but I used to low weights and I only did that in moderation. So lastly, I want to talk about the order of eating food. So to prevent gestational diabetes, I always think about how to regulate my insulin, because in gestational diabetes it's usually like placenta provides this hormone that hinder your insulin, your body's response to insulin. Then your body develops this insulin resistance. Because of this insulin resistance, you get diabetes. So personally, I just think about how to prevent this insulin resistance, how to make my glucose very steady. That means you want your glucose to rise like this, not like this, because every time your glucose spikes like this, your insulin will just come in and then like pull out. Like you don't want your blood sugar to go like ups and down. You want to go in steady, going high and going low. You don't want it to go too low that you'll go dizzy and stuff like that. So when I think about that, I think about, again, like what I learned from wearing continuous glucose monitor. So with every meal, I will eat some protein. So for breakfast, I will eat 2 hard-boiled eggs before I eat anything with sugar, the absorption of the sugar. And I will try to eat as much as fiber when I eat things that has sugar, because fiber will also slow down it spike of your glucose. And also fat also helps. When I want to eat some bread, sweet bread, I always try to eat with avocado and almond butter. Again, almond butter, it has super high in fat, avocado super high in fat. It also slows down the absorption of the sugar. You never want to eat empty carbs. You never want to wake up in the morning, eat 2 pieces of bread and go to work, because that's empty carbs. You always want to pair it up with some sort of high protein or high fat, especially high fat helps a lot. So, and also sometimes I will prioritize to eat fat first, protein, and sometimes I'll prioritize to eat protein first and fat second, and then carbs. The order of your eating also helps to prevent that insulin spike, to prevent that glucose spike, to prevent that insulin spike, to prevent that resistance to the insulin. So personally, I learned that from wearing continuous glucose monitor, and there are also certain food that spikes my glucose like none other. These things, no matter what I eat them with, they always spike my glucose. But of course, when you pair it with something else, it will slow down the glucose spike, but it will still create a huge glucose spike. So these food include white rice, granola bars or granola, corn, and bagels. Those 4 things. Other things, for some reason, it's okay. When I eat stir-fried noodles, Panda Express, it kind of okay. Brown rice, kind of okay. Regular bread, kind of okay. Sometimes eating potato chips, kind of okay, because it's high in fat, of course. So those 4 things, for some reason, spike my glucose like crazy. So these are the things I didn't really eat when I was pregnant. I try to avoid those 4 things because they're empty carbs, they're very high in glycemic load, and it spiked my glucose a lot. So yeah, that's it for today's video. Those are the tips that I use to prevent gestational diabetes. I hope these tips helps you as well. Talk to your doctor if you're worried about gestational diabetes. Just also want to do a disclaimer. I gained 50 pounds when I was pregnant. And before I did the gestational diabetes screener test, I was so worried because I gained a lot of weight already. When I did the test, I think I gained 30 pounds already. And I talked to my OBGYN and I was like, I'm so worried. And she's like, yeah, like gestational diabetes is associated with weight gain. If you gain too much weight, it's associated with increased likelihood of gestational diabetes. But don't worry about it. I did a screener. After that 1-hour test, my glucose went down to 80, which is the same as my fasting glucose level. She's like, did you see the result? It was so good. So my doctor actually told me, do not lose weight. Do not worry too much about your pregnancy weight, because I had no signs of gestational diabetes. So even though I gained a lot of weight, I did not worry too much about my pregnancy weight gain. So talk to your doctor. Everybody is different. So some people, if they gain too much weight, maybe it's associated with having gestational diabetes. With others, you could gain weight but still not have diabetes. So talk to your doctor before you have any worries and concerns. All right, that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. And before you go, thumbs up and subscribe. It really helps me out. And I will see you in my next video. Bye!